Before we start today, I have to tell you about State Farm agent Brian McDevitt. A lot of our listeners have gone to him for all their insurance needs, and he's been very helpful in getting them the coverage they deserve. There's no games with Brian. He's just here to help and make sure you feel safe. So if you have insurance needs and you haven't called him yet, what are you waiting for? Dial up the number, 630-796-2662. That's 630-796-2662. Or find him online at ryanismyagent.com. That's ryanismyagent.com, and make sure to mention Sports Talk Chicago. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. I want to start today with this. Up until a few days ago, there were only two jobs that you could not have in this country when you were 18 years old. Only two. You could drop out of school, start your own business, work at McDonald's, join the Army, and make real money by doing any of that. But you couldn't play professional football, and you couldn't play professional basketball. And get this, you weren't allowed to make money. You had to go through the NCAA, adhere to their policies and their rules, and not even make a penny. Oh, and guess what? If you did, you'd be outed and banned, and you'd need to apply for reinstatement. And your hopes of going to the NFL or the NBA would be taken away immediately. Sounds like a plan? You want to sign up for it? What a joke. The NCAA, for those of you who don't know, is a monopsony. A monopsony is an exclusive employer, like a monopoly, one company, monopsony, one employer. You could not make a move if you wanted to play in the NFL without going through the NCAA. That's restricting freedom, and more importantly, you're not being paid fairly for your work. Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh said, quote, "The NCAA's business model would be flatly illegal in almost any other industry in America. Thank you." Very illegal. You're taking advantage of 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, forcing them to play sports, and you're not paying them a penny. Oh, and if you want to go to the next level, if you want to be promoted, you have to go through their system only. Don't you see how wrong that is? It's a joke. Total farce. And for decades upon decades, it existed, and no one said a word. Everyone abided by their policies and their rules, which were a bunch of nonsense. Finally, though, it's over. It's over. Athletes, at any age, now have power. NCAA came out the other day and said, yes, you are allowed to monetize your name, image, and likeness and not face a penalty. And some athletes already, the day after that was said, have gotten deals. Spencer Rattler, the quarterback from Oklahoma, got a deal with Raising Cane's. More to come in the next few months. Great stuff. Now, as much as we should be rejoicing over this, and we will, we have to remember the unintended consequences from a decision like this. Think about this. There are about 350, 360 Division I schools in America. Some have said this could be the tipping point to paying athletes, having schools pay athletes. That could be next. I'm not opposed to it, personally, but you have to realize what you're asking for. Not every one of those D1 programs have the money to pay their athletes. Plain and simple. I'm not saying that's wrong or right, everyone should be paid, but the point is, the funds aren't there. if the requirement comes down to pay athletes, you will lose lots of D1 schools, like what happened to Major League Baseball over the past couple of years. 60 minor league teams have been eliminated because no pay. The pay isn't fair, so the team folds, which means less opportunities to make the MLB. Now that said, every player's making a bit more money, but less opportunities. It's a trade-off. Same here. It's going to be a trade-off. Even with the NIL now being signed, there's going to be a trade-off. Athletes will have to choose which brands to take and which ones not to take. Colleges will have to abide by this policy and realize it. What happens, for example, if Spencer Rattler gets benched at Oklahoma and he has a deal with Nike? We don't know. We have no clue how that's going to play out. In every decision in life, not just in sports or economics in life, there's always a trade-off. There's always an opportunity cost. What would have happened if I didn't do this? What was my number one second choice? What was I going to do if this didn't happen? With this policy coming into place, well, what would have happened if it still wasn't in effect? More under-the-table dealings, more suspensions, more guys applying for reinstatement, some guys leaving the NCAA entirely and going to play in Europe, Australia, wherever it might be. And athletes continuing to not be paid for their work. This is from Justice Kavanaugh, quote, "Nowhere else in America can businesses get away with agreeing not to pay their workers a fair market rate on the theory that their product is defined by not paying their workers a fair market rate." Can you believe that? I mean, really think about that here. Listen to what he said. Nowhere else in America can businesses get away with agreeing not to pay their workers a fair market rate on the theory that their product is defined by not paying their workers a fair market rate. The reason the NCAA is still in business is because they don't pay their workers. Nowhere else in America can a business say, we're in business, but we're not going to pay you. The NCAA did it for 100 years, longer, and subjected its athletes to long hours for no pay. For those of you watching, you probably know a student athlete. Of course you do. They're balancing school and then 5 a.m. practice, 9 p.m. practice, games, bus rides, trips. Not easy. Shouldn't they be paid for that? And I hate the argument that, oh, they're paid by their college tuition. No, they're not. It's not pay. At all. Because you're putting in 12-hour days, 13-hour days between athletics and school. You're not getting paid fairly with just a free education. No. And I think it's so ridiculous that in the past, you've had people get in trouble for trying to make money off their name. The whole Reggie Bush scandal. Give me a break. So what if he had a sponsor? What's the big deal? If pro athletes could do it, why can't you? You're younger. It's your life. Do it. I hate the argument against it. Oh, it's immoral. It's unethical. How is it unethical to make money for yourself? It's against policy. Yeah, who put the policy in place? An organization that is defined by not paying their workers and staying in business and making money. I'd love to know how much the NCAA's executives make. And yet their athletes don't even make a dime. And the best part is, if they try to make a dime, if they try to go out and do something for themselves to make money for their family, they're punished. Want to auction off memorabilia? No, you can't. Want to go sign some football cards to make money? Can't do that. Want to have an endorsement deal with Nike? Nope. The college can, but the player can't. I am shocked that it's taken this long for people to see this. I mean, shouldn't we have known this from a long time ago? This is relatively new, this movement of paying college athletes. Couldn't we see from a while ago? Why does the college get to have endorsement deals? Why does the NCAA and its executives make money? The executives of an industry that prides itself on not paying workers make money. The workers don't make anything. And if they try to, they're punished. We're taking away your Heisman Trophy. We're taking away your national championship. Are you kidding me? That screws them up for life. It's ridiculously overbearing. And I'm so happy it's over. And for those who don't like this, there are some who are not happy about this decision. Deal with it. What do you want this system to stay in place where 18, 19, 20-year-old kids are being taken advantage of and they can't even make a penny? And if they try to, they're punished. Again, quote, the NCAA's business model would be flatly illegal in almost any other industry in America. Correct. So correct. They pride themselves on not paying their workers anything. We could go back and forth about what a fair wage is. That's fine, but they don't pay anything. There is no wage at all. And the people at the top make great money, profiting off the backs of kids trying to go to the next level. And to this day, you still can't go to the NFL nor the NBA unless you go through the NCAA first and bow down to the NCAA. Does that sound right to you? You're more than welcome to join the Army, to work at McDonald's, start your own company, but you can't play NFL football or NBA basketball. Are you kidding me? That's the system that's being put into place here in America. Foreign athletes aren't subject to that. Luka Doncic was 19 when he debuted. He didn't play college ball in Europe. He played professional ball and came here. So foreign athletes have more freedom when it comes to work and wages than American ones. They did up until this rule came into place. Think about that. You've got a whole industry that is American, NCAA. Yet other athletes had privileges that they didn't. Should just be equal across the board. You shouldn't have to conform to the NCAA if you want to play NFL football or NBA basketball. And this is just the domino, the first domino to fall. I feel like more is going to come. There will come a point where athletes will be paid, I think, from colleges. When that happens, though, just remember, you won't see as many D1 programs. That's the cost. I'm all for athletes being paid. But when they do, there will be less programs, less of an opportunity. You have to be better to make it. Because there won't be as many places to try and make it to the NFL or the NBA. It's a very weird situation. But here's the one thing that makes complete sense. Their business model is illegal. It is. Restricting athletes, telling them you can't make any money, punishing them when they go out of their way to try and provide for themselves or their family, and forcing them to play in your league by your rules for at least 2 years is a joke. And it should be illegal. Can you imagine if a legitimate company did that to its workers? There'd be an uproar in this country. Rightfully so. But there was really no uproar about this till 3 or 4 years ago. That should have changed. Should have been a big deal way before recently. These are kids being taken advantage of. Other people profiting off their backs, off their athletic success. It's unfortunate that it has to be this way. The good thing is, change is here. My hope is, though, detractors and people who don't support this come around to realize that the NCAA and what they've done should be illegal. I mean, how would you feel if you went to your job and they told you have to stay here for 2 years and we're not going to pay you a penny? You'd leave the job, or you'd try to, but then you'd realize, oh, I got to stay for 2 years. That's ridiculous. That's an abuse of power. And now finally, thanks to this ruling, the NCAA has less. More to come here on Sports Talk Chicago. My interview with David Sampson comes up next, so stay tuned.